Bible. It has been mistranslated. It has spelling mistakes. It especially has alternative translations. It has also been taken out of context and used to justify war, slavery, oppression of women. So let's begin with part 5 of Bible mistranslations, and we're going to be focusing on Jesus saving children. So to begin, let us use some of my translation from the Gospel of Matthew 21.12 and pointing out the Greek translations and what their words actually mean and can mean. Okay, so let's begin. Jesus goes into the temple. And Jesus entered into the temple or sanctuary and cast out all those who were selling or who sold, this word polio, meaning to sell, and buying, or translating to purchasing or ransoming or acquiring, so ransoming, so acquiring a slave. So this word here is orgazo, so meaning to acquire a slave, to either free them or to acquire them as property. This meaning also one who was ransoming, so ransoming people, so one who was ransomed at price and purchased. So let's continue. In the temple or sanctuary, and overturned the tables of the money changers and seats of those selling or who sold the flock of doves or pigeons. This word peristera. This has unknown origins, most likely either coming from Pleiades, being flock of doves or priestesses, or from birds of Ishtar, or doves of Ishtar, or doves of Aphrodite. So virgin brides or priestesses raised in the temple as priestesses or virgin brides. For fertility cults, in this case, to be raised in the temple as holy brides, as one would be worthy enough to carry the Messiah, and this bride would be raised in the traditions of the Pharisees. So the Messiah would be of their stock, being raised in their traditions. Let's continue. And he spoke, or reasoned, or stated to them, it is written, the house of me will be called a house of prayer. You, however, made it a den, or translates to grotto, or hideout, or cave, as spalion. Means also a grotto, as oracles would use drugs in grottos to receive visions. So here they're drugging up the priestesses. For pirates, rebels, bandits, raiders, predators, or brigands. This word, laestus. Or in this case, they're using leston, which comes from the word laestus or lestus, which means a predator, a pirate, someone who human traffics, who plunders and raids your stuff and steals your children, steals your wife, puts them in the slave market, or who steals your possessions and who burns your property. So rebels, someone who rebels against authority. So here Jesus is stating they're rebelling against their own people. They're pirates of children. They're predators of their own people. So let's continue. And the blind, or mentally blind, and the lame came to him in the temple or sanctuary, and he healed or cured or served or took care of or helped or treated them, as the word therapio means to render service to, medically help them, divine help. So healing them in a means of divine worship or divine treatment. When the chief priest and the scribes saw the wonders that he did, and the children in the temple were cheering, shouting, or crying out for vengeance. This word krazo can mean all these different things. So the children are crying out to Jesus. They're cheering for him, or they're crying out for revenge against the priests that are selling them. Let's continue. The next text is, save us to the Son of David. And the priests were angry. So this word Hosanna meaning to save us. So the children are crying out for revenge and asking Jesus to save them. They're crying out, cheering to him because he's liberated them from the sex trade. Now, the proto-gospel of James has the Virgin Mary, Jesus' mother, being raised in the temple as a dove. She too was a victim of this trade. So Jesus went to the temple in honor of his mother and stopped the sex trade. Now, this is the real reason why the Pharisees and Sadducees wanted to kill Jesus, because he stopped their trade. He stopped their operation. Now, the Pharisees and Sadducees, the Pharisees were the ones running it, the Sadducees were profiting from it. So they were rebelling against their own people, being predators of their own people. They were harming children. Now you're going to see what Jesus states, because Jesus saved children. He blessed them. Women and children loved him. There's a reason why they loved the man. He was a beautiful man as he helped women and children. This is why you see early Christianity being very much equality for men, women and children, and why early Christians would rescue children that were left out in the woods, abandoned to die, and especially running through brothels to save children, especially women. They in turn would also free women that were slaves from abusive masters that would mistreat them. This in turn would earn them the wrath of Rome. And many of these Christians that were killed, that were helping children and women, were the Gnostic Christians. Let's get into Matthew 18.6, temptations to sin. Whoever causes one of the little or young ones who believe in me to stumble, or translates to be pained, or lose faith, or sin, or offend. This word here is scandalizo. It is better for them that a heavy millstone were hung around their neck, and that they be sunk or drowned in the depth of the sea. So Jesus is stating that whoever harms a child are best to drown themselves. He's stating that the children of God are not for sale. Let's continue. Woe to the world because of causes of sin, or pains, or stumbling blocks, or offending. Again, scandalizo. For it is necessary for the stumbling blocks, or causes of sin, or causes of pain, or causes of offence to come. But woe to the human being, or man, or person, whom the offence, or misery, or sin, or pain comes. So, woe to the person that this pain of whoever is inflicted comes from. This word here is scandalon. So Jesus is saying, woe to those who cause harm in this world. It's necessary for there to be wrongs and right. So duality. But woe to those who cause the harm of the world, who cause harm in others, who cause harm in children. So Jesus here is talking about what this world can become with love. He's stating that those who cause harm to others are best to drown themselves because they have no love in them. They have no light in them. So they are rotten fruit. Those who bear good fruit have light within them. Good fruit being good deeds, being love, what you offer to the world in kindness, out of friendship and compassion, out of mercy. Love for yourself and love for others, to see yourself in others. To see us all as brothers and sisters, as we're all children of God. Let's continue with Matthew 18.8. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, or cause pain, or stumble, so causes you to harm someone else, or causes you to sin, or causes you to lose faith, or to stumble along the way, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter Zoe, crippled or lame, than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal, or duration, or everlasting, or long ago fire. So, suffer for a period of time or for duration. Zoe being Holy Spirit, being Sophia, being the spiritual life of God, the spiritual life that you have when you build a connection with the Holy Spirit, the Spirit within you, and with God. So this is the meaning of this. They hide this in most translations because this is Gnostic. So let's go to Jesus blesses little children in Matthew 19.13 to 15. Then were brought to him little children, that he might lay or place his hands on them to offer prayer. The disciples, however, rebuked them, so trying to warn them or stop them. But then Jesus said, permit or allow or suffer or tolerate or even forgive. This word here being aphemi, meaning to forgive, to suffer, to leave them alone, to permit them, to tolerate them, to put up with them. The little children. And do not forbid them to come unto me, for such belongs the kingdom of the heavens. And having placed his hands upon them, he departed from there. So he blessed them, and he states that it's the children that belong to the kingdom of heaven. So meaning that we are all the children of God, and it's our soul, our spirit, that belongs to heaven, not the flesh. So the innocence within us, our inner child. So this is what Jesus means by the child within, the innocence within, the soul, the spirit. So Jesus is talking about building a spiritual connection with God, a personal relationship with God. So enacting the will of God is to be a child of God, to be a son or daughter of God. So thank you for joining us here in this discussion. I hope you enjoyed it. So peace, love, lots of gnosis, and many blessings. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment as it helps the channel grow. Have a lovely day and a lovely night.